Welcome to the Integrate This EdTech Podcast. I'm David Berner, joined by friend of the show, Dr.
Jorge Valenzuela.
George.
How are you, Dave?
Good, how are you?
Dave just came by my session. It was supposed to be 700 people. Not everyone came, but we had a good time.
Yeah, it was a good time. And we could talk about all the different things that you did there. But first, I got to ask you something. Your session was Ignite Passion to Purpose.
Right.
Okay, so I got to talk to you about one of your passions real quick.
Okay.
What hasn't happened that just happened since 1973?
The Knicks just won a championship. The New York Knicks. Big shout out to Jalen Brunson, the king of New York. Wherever that man is going to go in New York for the rest of his life, he's never paying for a meal. Big shout out to the Knicks.
Yeah, George is a huge Knicks fan, so I had to mention that, and I had to talk about how I'm a Timberwolves fan. And
nobody's perfect, though.
Yeah, I was heartbroken.
Nobody's perfect.
Cat needs to come back, I guess. So George, can you tell us a little bit about like what it's been like here for you so far at ISTE? Been having fun?
Yeah, ISTE is home for me. When I began my career in EdTech and in speaking, you can go back in the archives and look back at 2017. 2017, ISTE was in Chicago. I was there for the first time. I have never seen 20,000 people in one space at the same time, and it was amazing. I've come back every single year afterwards. I've been a featured speaker, I've been a regular speaker, and I can honestly say I am home. My first book was published through ISTE.
Yeah, and we just saw someone actually that you recognized that.
Oh, right. So big shout out to Emily. Emily is one of the editors with ISTE and ASCD, and she handheld me on my first book proposal, which took about 6 months because I didn't know how to structure a book, and through the entire writing process, which took maybe about a year and a half.
Okay.
So big shout out to her.
Yeah, absolutely. Was that PBL Plus or was that?
Rev Up Robotics.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yep.
That's
old school, man.
Yeah, and those ones are on the website. Yeah.
Yeah, they're still there. Yeah.
Yeah. So the session that you had, you talked a little bit about the empathy map thing first. Can you explain that a little bit more? I was listening to that and I was.
Yeah. The concept of an empathy map is not new. It actually comes from the business world. Fortune 500 companies use empathy mapping when they're developing or improving a product. So let's say they have developed a sitcom and they have a pilot show.
Sure.
So they have the pilot and they bring in people. And after the pilot, after they viewed it, they'll do a focus group and have some individual interviews with the people. They look at these responses and they're looking for themes in the data. And they develop an empathy map to better understand the thoughts and feelings of the consumer. So when they continue in developing the show or the product, they're developing through the lens of the consumer. So for education, I created a version of the empathy map, just looking at what business and industry does. And for educators, just looking at the research. John Hattie once said, to see learning through the eyes of students. So what does that mean? We have to know them both as people and learners. So my version of the empathy map has 6 different fields. 3 fields are for knowing them as people, their interests, their goals, and things that they're good at. And then 3 fields are for knowing them as learners, academic needs, their career needs, if it's a CTE teacher, but also essential life skills, which might be emotional intelligence and things like that.
Okay, yeah, and the other thing that I really picked up on in there too is and you say you put on your professor glasses, right? But when you're looking at your session, I'm watching you really emphasize like frameworks. You can have frameworks or you can have like the ideas.
Yeah.
So you can talk us, what's the importance of a framework? Yeah. Why do we start there?
A framework is a recipe. Let's say you're in your kitchen and you're going to make a lasagna for a dinner party, but you've never made lasagna before. If you have all the ingredients and all the tools in your kitchen, but you don't have the recipe, you don't have the framework, are you going to make lasagna?
I mean, you could, but it might not turn out.
It won't be lasagna,
right?
Trust me.
Yeah.
One of the things that I learned in the PhD program is when you're studying something, you are studying it because you are passionate about that thing or you're trying to solve a problem. The second step, after identifying what the problem is, you have to look at the literature, the previous research, to see what has been done on this topic. What have other researchers discovered or have created about this work? And you're going to find there's a framework, there's a system or a model that's already there, unless it's something brand new. You take that and you look at your population or what you're doing, and you adapt and tweak it and make it your own, and you implement it. It gives you the theory for what you're trying to do. And then when you do it, you collect data to see if you affirm what's been done or you learn something new. So think of our job as teachers. Our job as teachers is to teach kids how to learn using frameworks. Bloom's taxonomy, that's what it is. It's a teaching framework. It's a learning framework. But there's other frameworks. There's computational thinking, there's design thinking, there's a scientific process. Teachers, if we are teaching the process, then the learning and the knowledge construction along the way is facilitated. And so that's why I teach frameworks.
So do you think a lot of the errors that we run into are a result of not thinking about the framework at all? Is it?
In my opinion. There's no way of doing something. And humans need to see something first. See, humans, we started out artistic, meaning whatever was in our mind and our heart, we did that. But as we developed into researchers, we're now able to make decisions based on research and what's in our hearts and our mind, and that's the blending of those two things. You could be the researcher, but if you're just regurgitating information, there's no art. It's boring. Or if you just do the art, but you don't know the research, you've got blind spots. And if you watch a lot of what's happening, people speak about things that they've never researched, that they don't fully understand.
So right now, like this AI moment that we've been in, right? You brought in AI literacy, and one of the things I appreciated about when you were talking was you emphasized that like when you go do a PD, you know, the people that are there, they're already experts in things that they do, right? And you said, you know, beg, borrow, and steal, but cite. So I might use that for my own PD, right?
Yeah.
But like that's a really important thing, because it's like I think sometimes. When I've done PD, it seems some teachers are thinking that they're already starting back at a deficit, but they're actually like, no, you can actually point to, you're an expert in these things already, and then now apply AI to what you're doing. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, I don't think teachers need to change what they teach. I think when it comes to AI, I believe we should allow kids to do part of the work. And if they have the thinking frameworks and the repeatable instructional sequences, which are frameworks, then what happens is AI becomes a helper. If not, AI does the work that they don't understand anyway. And I think that's really harmful. I think it's harmful because it doesn't reinforce that productive struggle that everyone needs in order to learn something.
Okay, so I have another question for you.
Sure.
We're in the magical land of Disney here, right?
Okay.
The magical world of Disney. What would you hope for if you could wave a wand? What would you hope for that people really take away from the session that you did today?
Well, I already got that.
Okay.
So there's a part of myself, well, I'll back up. From visiting schools, and not just me, but other people in schools, see that there's a big breakdown in relationships. And we talked about this on the podcast with Jeremy. Big shout out to Jeremy. We had this discussion where I brought up that my parents were boomers. And the theme, or the common theme I've seen in the boomer generation in having conversations with friends, is that our parents didn't take an interest in us and what we like. We were told to listen and obey. And as a father now, and I'm not sure if you're a father yet, David, but as a father, you start to realize that if you don't take an interest in what your kids like, then what's going to happen is you're not going to have a relationship with them. Because as a young person, you're interested in what's happening right now, what your friends are doing. You're interested in what's fun. And anyone that's trying to put that down, they're not going to have time for. So in looking at the literature, before we can get there, to take an interest in what they like, we have to form some type of rapport. Not even relationship, a rapport. And you do that by having high expectations. You have to believe in them, but also positive words and interactions. So how did I get it? I have to give you the background. Speaking positivity into others, it doesn't come easy for everyone. I've discovered that, especially for folks where it hasn't been modeled for them. So what I do in the workshop is I have people send a text to someone in their life who would benefit from some kind words and encouragement. And just to tell them that they did a good job at a skill, an attitude, or something that they did well. One of the teachers in the workshop, when everyone was doing the empathy map, pulled me aside and said, I just text my 17-year-old some appreciation, and he gives me one-word answers every time. Okay, thanks. He said, today I got a paragraph. So if one kid gets something out of what we did with teachers, that's all you need. And then it doesn't matter that everyone didn't show up.
Absolutely. So one of the things too I want to just ask you here as we kind of wrap up our time is, what type of things do you have coming out that you want to highlight? And, you know, obviously we're at ISTE now, but what do you have coming up that folks can look forward to? New book, anything, you know, like that?
My entire website has been redone. It's almost done, but it focuses on my 3 lanes. Instructional innovation, that's for leaders in schools. Project-based learning plus with AI literacy, that's for teachers, also admin. But I have a series that I've been developing for years, and it's called Leading Through Conflict. I'm working on that book now, but there's a lot of articles on Medium around that topic that I'm working on. It's for people leading, whether at home, at school, in the boardroom, any walk of life, with emotional acuity.
All right.
And that's it. And lots of workshops and keynotes and stuff, so it's been a blessing.
Absolutely. And we'll make sure we put everything in the show notes so people can access that too as well. George, just want to thank you for joining us. Appreciate it. Nick's going to win next year. Repeat?
We'll see.
All right. Thanks, everybody.